So hi guys, how are you all doing? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Claire. Please consider subscribing to my channel. So how do I look? I really like this hairstyle. This is my latest signature hairstyle, by the way. If you've seen me out there, this is all I do. So I was just about to head out, and there's a story I wanted to tell you guys, and I wanted to tell you guys while driving, but then I figured it's a very embarrassing story for me. Okay, I cringe every time I think of it, and I thought, oh my god, no, I can't do that when driving because my mind might go blank, or I must just lose my mind and then something will happen on the road. So I decided to tell you this story before I head out. So yeah, let me just try to position this camera. I hope this works out for me. Okay, let's do this. I hope that's okay. That's good. Yeah, we can work with this. It's crazy hot in here. So yeah, this is the most embarrassing moment of my life. Like, I've had other embarrassing moments, but this is the top of all that, guys. I'm just trying to turn on the AC because it's too hot in here. I hope it's not making any noise. So yeah, this happened the other day, actually a few days ago. So I was heading out, and I decided, since I was so happy that day, I didn't have any commitments and all that, I decided to take a walk, since I like taking walks, especially evening walks. Hey guys, my forehead is giving. Yeah, I like taking walks, especially evening walks. So this day I decided to go to town, and I was not in a rush, so I was walking to the bus station, and on my way there was this guy who was following me behind, and he was like, hey madam, can you slow down so that we walk together? And I was like, no, you have to increase your pace. Okay, so in like 1 minute or so, the guy increased his pace and he got to me, and I was like, hi, how are you? As usual for me, I'm usually very kind. When strangers say hi on the road, I don't ignore. I make sure I respond. At least that was who I was some days before I experienced whatever I'm going to tell you. Man, this was so embarrassing. Yeah, so we walked together. When we were almost nearing the bus station, there were some motorbike riders parked somewhere, and he was like, okay, I'll take a motorbike to town. And I was like, okay, you go ahead, I'll take we call them matatu, the vans that transport people to and from town, whatever, So he was like, you don't want to board a motorbike? And I was like, no, it's not comfortable for me, I'd rather the matatu. Okay, so he was like, oh, that's actually a good idea, let's go together. So we went, and there was a matatu that was waiting for us. So it had 2 seats next to each other that were vacant, and the guy gave me way. I went in first, I sat on one, and he sat on the next one. Remember, at this time we've created rapport, we are now talking, like, just the usual talk. And then as we're almost nearing town, he asked me, okay, where are you alighting? I was like, I'm going to CBD. So yeah, okay, even before we reached our destination, the guy who takes transport money was collecting the money from all the passengers in the vehicle. So I took my phone, I wanted to pay, and he was like, you know what, don't worry, I'll sort that out for you. And I was like, okay, thank you. So in the process of that, he asked for my number, which I gave him. For me, I don't overthink situations like that, because it's all about building communities. You don't know how someone will help you in future. At least that's what I've been thinking, but now my mindset is completely changed. Okay, yeah, so I reached my destination, everyone alights, and I'm like, okay, I'll see you. So yeah, some days pass, and then we talk on phone. He messages me and he asks me, what do you do? I tell him what I do, and then I also tell him, oh, by the way, I'm a content creator, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I send him the link, and he subscribes, he watches the content, he tells me, well, it's good content. So then from there we started talking little by little, just the general talk. Okay, so with time, okay, for me, I'm not that constant with keeping communication. Even for the friends I have, I usually prefer, like, we don't have to talk every day. Okay, we just talk when it's necessary, at least. Okay, I'm not that so consistent with keeping that strict communication. Yeah, so we talked for a while, and then one day he calls me. I pick up his call, we talk, that's it. Some days pass by, he calls me again, which I find a missed call. After the missed call, I message him, and then he calls back, and then he's like, okay, I'm in a noisy place, let me call you later, of which he didn't call again. Okay, after that, I think one day passed by, and then the following day he called me. I found 2 missed calls, so which I didn't call back. I messaged him, and then I think, yeah, we talked. I don't remember what the chat was about, but it was just a friendly chat. Okay, so yeah, from there there's a message. He texted me, and he was like, oh, you're so quiet nowadays. So I left it at that. I didn't reply that message. I just, okay, for me, I have a tendency of usually what is it called, procrastination. So when someone messages me, I'm usually like, okay, I'll respond. I keep forgetting until I forget completely to respond. Okay, yeah, so I didn't respond that message. I think 2 days from that day, I went, I was also free, and I decided to take a walk. So, you know, where we live, it's mainly families live here, but when you go further, not further inside, like some short distance, you'll find some rental apartments, because there's a university close to us, so you'll find many rental apartments. So I was in that area of theirs. Okay, and I walk, okay, cool. In the evening, around 7:30 is when I start coming back home. You know, by then the darkness is creeping in. Okay, I just walk slowly, you know. By that time it's already dark, and there's this guy I see standing on somewhere as I was walking towards this place, and I was like, I know this guy, but I'm not so sure, because I couldn't see him. I couldn't figure out well because of the darkness. So when I reached, he was on the other side of the road, and I was on this other side of the road. So while I was staring keenly to see if it's someone I know, he was like, hey. And when he said that, I was like, oh, I know this guy, let me go and say hi. African culture, where you have to stand and shake someone's hands, you know, so for that to be considered a greeting, man, I'm never going to do that again. Okay, in case I see someone, a stranger on the road, not even a stranger, someone I've met once or twice, someone I don't know very well, just a wave, and that's it. So that was the mistake I did. I went and said hi. So when I reached there, I was like, hi, how are you? He was like, where are you coming from? I told him, no, I was just strolling around, you know, just catching up. And I was like, where are you from? And he was like, oh, I just came back from playing football. And I was like, oh, where do you practice at? So he was showing me the direction, and he was like, why are you so quiet nowadays? And I was like, nah, it's just that I've been held up for a bit, but things are getting better. Okay, yeah. So, and that was it. I was like, he was like, okay. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna head off. And he was like, okay, we'll keep in touch. And that was it. Tell me, guys, I just walked like 3 steps, and behind me I hear someone shouting, mwanamke. Mwanamke means woman in English. Wow, I don't know, what is it called, intuitions. And you know, at that time, okay, it's in the evening. Usually there's a lot of people by the roadside in the evenings. I don't know, maybe some of them are from work, some of them are from school, some of them are just from running errands. So there were a lot of people, and I look back. I even stand for like 2 minutes, and I see this woman. She was with another woman and a kid, and she was complaining where she was I don't know. Okay, how can I put this? There was a bit of commotion, and he was like, this lady was like actually questioning this guy, but she was questioning this guy in a very loudly, you know, everyone on the road could hear. And I stood for like 2 minutes. I was like, what's going on? Was she calling me when she said woman, you know? And okay, but since she was not talking to me, I kept walking, and after a short distance, I could still hear this woman shouting behind, but I was like, nah, I'm just gonna keep going. So after a few distance, there was a guy who stood, and he was like, oh, I see there's a woman back there who wants to start fighting. And I'm like, I don't even understand what is going on. So as we keep walking with the guy, just some few steps, I decide to look back. When I look back, I see this lady running towards me. She was behind, remember? She was running towards me, and she was running with a kid. And I was like, okay, what is going on? So I stand, and this guy also stands here. Not the other one, not this woman's person, you know. So this other guy that I met on the way. So he stands, and she's like, okay. She started by saying this. Unajua tuko karibu kupigana. I'm like, okay, that means, you know, we are about to start fighting. And I'm like, okay, with who? And she's like, with you. What were you talking or conversing with my husband? I'm like, where? This is real trouble. And when, okay, me, I will never indulge myself in these kinds of fight. If there is anything, I swear I will never do this kind of fight, because it is so embarrassing. How a whole woman who respects herself, how can you do this, you know? Okay, at that point it hits me, and I'm like, okay. And mind you, this lady is a Turkana, the husband is a Turkana. Okay, I don't want to talk more about that, but you know, yeah, that explains itself. So this lady was shouting, and I'm like, there's nothing going on between your husband and me. Like, we are just, you know, friends. Like, this is the second time we're actually meeting, and I just stopped to say hi. This woman did not want to hear any explanation. She just wanted to hear, I think she just wanted me to admit that there was something going on, but nah, I could not admit to something that was actually not true. So at this point, I'm so shocked, because she's making me accountable for something that I'm not even responsible for. That is what, you know, even when I meet that woman on the road now, you know, I'll not remember her face, because first of all, it was dark, and at that time, okay, there were street lights, but at that time I was too shocked to comprehend things. Like, even if I met her now on the way, I would not recognize her. Yeah, okay, so I try so hard to explain myself, and guys, after a while, I see my dad coming. Like, I don't know, how embarrassing. So I don't know why my dad decided to also take a walk that late, because it was almost, I think it was around 7:30. I don't know what my dad was doing in that place, taking out, I don't understand. So suddenly my dad shows up, and I'm like, nah, this is crazy. You know, I can't allow my dad to see me in this situation. But at that point, there's nothing I could do, because the lady was shouting. Everyone on the road was just looking at us and passing by. I don't know what to do at this point. So my dad comes, he listens to the story, and he's like, okay, he laughs at first when I explain what is happening. Because, man, this is a very stupid fight. And from the look of things, you could tell that this woman was actually from the village, because there's no way you're going to behave like that in a town setting, okay? No way. So yeah, and she insists, she wants to know if I have the husband's number. And at that point, I have to deny that, okay? Because, okay, there was nothing we were talking about. It was all friendly chats, but, you know, she would have acted up even more, you know. She didn't want to understand. I don't know. And then all of a sudden, she's like, you know what? This whole time she's shouting, man, I've never been embarrassed that way in my whole life. Okay, so she shouts, and she's like, if there's anything you're planning to do with him or to talk with him, don't do it again. Don't proceed, because you see, this one here is his first daughter, and there's another small baby I'm breastfeeding at home. And then she storms out, and I'm left there thinking, wow, man, the embarrassment. You know, guys, let me tell you something, huh? Don't argue with people. So, you know, there are some people you will argue with, and they will drag you down to their level. That's why I don't like arguing. And the reason why that thing shut me down for a few days, even up to now, I still can't believe that happened to me, is because that woman dragged me down to her level, you know. That is what even angers me the more, man. No way. From today onwards, I'm not going to stop and say hi to anyone. I'll just be waving at everybody. Hi, yeah, I'm good. Yeah, let's proceed. That's it for me. I've learned my lesson the hard way. And that has been the most embarrassing scenario in my life, man. I shut down for some few days. I'm telling you guys, even now, I'm still not okay. Like, every time I try my best to forget about that incident, because, man, I cringe. It gives me shivers. Like, how did I find myself in that situation? But never again. Oh my god. Anyway, it's okay, things happen, and that's it. So anyone out there, girls, you know what to do, okay? At least learn from my experience. Yeah. and I'll see you in our next video. Leave your comment down below. Let me know what you think about that situation, and until then, I'll see you guys. Please guys, if you have not subscribed, please subscribe, and I love you all. Bye. There's also some important information I've forgotten. So for the record, when I got home that evening, I didn't wait. I completely deleted this guy's number from my phone, and all the chats, everything, all the calls, I deleted everything. And he also did not message me after that time. I think he was also embarrassed. Yeah, I think so. I don't know. Yeah, so what else? I got home that evening. I told my sisters the story. And when I reached my dad's parts, and they were all like, you know, and I remember that evening I was so scared to even face my dad, because you know, how do you even explain a situation like that? Anyway, it's okay, we move on with life.